This is an urgent call to action to support 2 American citizens who have wrongly been kidnapped by Israel, and they're about to get deported even though the land that they were supposed to be on is technically Palestinian land. Today, Saturday, December 13th, 2 American citizens were illegally kidnapped by Israeli soldiers while they were helping defend a Palestinian family defend their land from illegal settlers who should not be in the area. And if you don't know about what's happening in the West Bank, or you don't know how to help, please check out the entirety of this video on YouTube, because I'll fill you in on what's happening right now, but the rest of the video is going to be giving you a little bit of an explanation of exactly what's going on in the West Bank and why it's so important that we all do as much as we can to fight it. So the 2 American citizens that were arrested just outside of Ramallah, which is like a little bit north of Jerusalem, they were protecting a family in a village called Al-Mughayr. These 2 activists were trying to help the Abu Hammam family, which is the last family in this region of the Jordan Valley, because all of the other families have been driven out by illegal settlers who have been tormenting and hurting the Palestinians that reside in the valley. And this comes nearly 1 week after those same settlers brutally attacked 6 people and sent one of my friends to the hospital. You see, what's going on here is a classic example of colonization at play. The Palestinians in the valley have every right to be there under international law because the West Bank is supposed to be Palestinian territory along with Gaza. And what's happening to the Abu Hammam family is just an example of what's happening to Palestinians all over the West Bank, where these settlers come onto Palestinian land and walk around like they own the place, knowing that they're going to get support of the Israeli military, even though they don't own the land. The settlers in the West Bank are known for poisoning the water tanks and pouring cement into wells that the families need to survive. They do everything they can to make living on that land as miserable as possible so that the Palestinian families have no other choice to leave. And what's even worse is that they get military support. So even though all of their actions are illegal, when Palestinians call the police, there's no one to come defend them because the police often side with the settlers. This is how colonization happens. Not all at once, but slowly, family by family and village by village. If you truly want to understand the brutality of Israel's occupation, then look to the West Bank and see what they're doing to the people just living, trying to get by. The other day, a couple of friends of mine also volunteering with the ISM sent me footage of a Palestinian town called Khalil, where shop owners have to deal with harassment from the Israeli military even though all they're trying to do is run their shop. And the thing that I don't think people understand is that there is no way for Palestinians to live safely in either the West Bank or obviously clearly now not in Gaza either. Because Israel makes it impossible to. If you are someone that believes in a 2-state solution, or you believe that Palestinians should be able to live freely without harassment or violence, then you need to open up your eyes to what's happening in the West Bank and do everything you can to talk about what's going on in the West Bank, because it's not going to be long before the West Bank is treated much like Gaza. I mean, think about it. Jerusalem is one of the oldest, most sacred cities in the world, and the Israeli military is destroying that ancient city by putting an apartheid wall straight in the middle of it. If you want to get angry about people causing violence and destruction, then you need to get angry with the Israeli military, because they've all but destroyed some of the most sacred and beautiful places that have so much rich history and are important to so many people all over the world because the religions they practice come from this land. And the thing that sucks is that the Israeli military calls anyone that dares to defend Palestinian sovereignty over this land a terrorist, because it makes it look like they're fighting evil, even though all these so-called terrorists want is for an end to the violence against Palestinians. I'll try to keep you updated about what's going on with the 2 activists that were illegally detained. So far right now, they're refusing deportation because they did nothing wrong. And we need to remind the world that these are American citizens that have every right to be where they were. And I wanted to take this opportunity to let you know about the organization that these activists were a part of, in case anybody watching this video wants to try and do something to help Palestinians too. The organization is called International Solidarity Movement, and they've been doing this work for decades, where they send ordinary people all over the world to the West Bank to do what's called protective presence. And for a long time, protective presence was enough to stop the settlers from coming and attacking these Palestinian families. But ever since the genocide in Gaza, these settlers have been emboldened to be even more violent and harass the Palestinian families even more. Which is why it's so critical that ISM continues to get volunteers to put people between the Palestinian families and the settlers. Earlier this summer, we saw thousands of people mobilize to get on ships to end the illegal blockade happening on Gaza. And we need thousands of people to continue signing up with International Solidarity Movement and other organizations like this to send people directly to the West Bank and be that front line between the settlers and the Palestinians. If you're interested in becoming one of these volunteers, please go to palsolidarity.org. And if you can't volunteer, then the least that you can do is continue to have conversations with your friends about what's going on in the West Bank. Because we've seen what's happened in Gaza, and it's our duty as humanity to stop that from happening in the West Bank too.